Hello, in today's demonstration, I am going to attempt to integrate some of the handmade collage materials I made in last week's session. And I was going to do everything in strips, and then I had this background, this stamped background that caught my eye. That's got a nice compositional structure. There's movement going on. I stamped this with, I think it was a case for headphones for your iPhone. So I've already glued it to a sheet of Bristol paper. I am probably going to put some paint on here to create a sense of movement, and then I'll start layering some of these collage materials I made. I did play with them a little bit, so I picked out some of my favorites. And believe it or not, the tissue paper was the magical surprise. So we'll be seeing that. I've got the corrugated cardboard, the crumpled paper bags, and my black and white dots. So I'm going to get started here. And I think I'm going to put some transparent colors on here, not the whole thing, just to emphasize the movement. I'm going to use this Indian yellow high flow and a turquoise phthalo high flow. All right. Going to add some water to both of those so they're not so intense. I can always bring the color up a little bit. Again, if I want to, I can test off to the side. Make sure it's not too bright. Okay, that's pretty good. All right. So I've got my movement going this way. I wish I had a bigger brush, but I don't. Okay, so I'm emphasizing the movement going this way. It's kind of like these things are tumbling. I don't have to fill the whole thing in because I'm going to be adding more. Okay, now turquoise. Okay, so that's a pretty good place to start. Now I'm going to start shuffling and arranging some of these materials. I'm going to wait till this dries a little bit, and then I'll add some of these papers. I think I'll cut some of these down, maybe the size of some of these squares, or the in between overlapping spaces. Not sure yet. And I started with these colors, the turquoise and the yellow, which kind of match with this, how I've painted the corrugated cardboard. That feels a little big. Okay, down we go. Now it feels a little small. Okay, maybe I'll start right there. Now bring in some other elements. I haven't glued anything down yet. Okay, so this tissue paper, I can just rip out bits. And then shuffle them until they land in a place that I like. And this might be the most important part. Don't be in a rush to glue stuff down. You're composing here. Take your time. Like those lines. Okay, here's a random bit of paint that is slightly different than the rest. I'm going to throw that in there. Like these old book pages because they're really easy to rip. They've aged in such a way that they're easy to tear. Okay, now I'm going to go to this paper bag. So this is a little bit thicker, obviously. Like the bottom of those bags. Okay. I don't have to be willing to tear things apart and either it's going to work or not. But after all, it's just a paper bag, corrugated cardboard. Okay, I think I'm just gonna, I've got plenty going on in there. So I'm gonna glue some of these things down. Some they're definitely gonna get moved. And then I'll reassess. Okay, so I'm gonna use this gloss gel. I've been using Mod Podge, but I've been playing with gloss gel and I think I'm switching. I like it a lot better. It's a little bit thicker. It's easier to position materials. Okay, so I'm going to start with this tissue paper. This was the pleasant surprise. So put down some of my gloss gel. And then I don't even know that it's tissue paper anymore. It just merges with that surface as if it's been painted on there. And the color shows up a lot better. And I can scrape over, and I like using this silicone scraper, spatula, whatever you want to call it. Gluing these bits down. Let's see how the paper bag does. It's a little more dimensional, so I'm having a fuss with this a little bit more in terms of getting it to stick down. See, I changed my mind here. I'm going to try and overlap that right there. I have to say, I think I like this tissue paper than the deli paper. It's much more transparent. So the decision I'm making now is to have it a little bit more weighted at the bottom and a little bit lighter at the top, which I think helps the movement. So I've already changed the composition a bit. Okay, so that's a pretty good start. You know, I could come in with some even finer pieces. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to show you what the next layer might be, which would be would be paint. And was going to go with this phthalo green, but I feel like I need more contrast. Let me see what I've got here. And of course, I've left most of my paints in the house. So let's see, I'm going to go with this Charvan Ash Blue and I think the Phthalo Green. So I've got transparent paint. Now I'm going to go a little thicker impasto, and I'm going to do some dry brushing across the paper bags to see if I pick up on that texture. This really is my first time playing with that. So no water. Again, the low 45-degree angle. It does work and it integrates nicely. I like it. I will be repeating it. Matter of fact, I'm going to put this other phthalo green on top. So here's two colors layered. And maybe start bringing some of that into the surrounding area. Now I'm just kind of scrubby. more pop on the Indian yellow. Now being very non-fussy and letting things mix. So transparency over these magazine pages with the transparent color. I'm going to still see the text. And I'm working in the round, so which helps me hopefully create a unified piece. It's getting a little crazy here. I can block certain things out, overlap if I want. Sgraffito. And I think I'm going to stop there. This is a good place. I'm getting into the flow, but I want to pull back, and I would probably add some finishing details. Like I'm thinking a pop of red or orange there, and maybe somewhere else. I don't have the red with me, and actually don't have red, but I've got quinacridone magenta. So let me give that a go. I may blow it here. We'll see. It just feels like little pops of smaller colors somewhere are needed, because it's mostly, except for the yellow, it's a pretty cool color palette. So I'm not sure if I like it. It feels like maybe kind of a distraction, but I can still go over it. I can pull it back a little bit. So it's there, but it's pushed back a little bit. This red may still be a little bit the star of the show down here. I think I'm going to leave it. And I think I'm going to end there for now, and then I would reassess. But there's a way of integrating with paint these collage materials that we made last week.